Okay, thank you very much for waiting. Welcome to the side event at the Japan Pavilion, progress and the challenges for implementing the JCM under the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. My name is Makoto Kato. I am a member of Board of Directors of the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, Japan. I'm happy to serve as the MC for this event. This event has been sort of series of efforts of disseminating the information regarding the JCM and Article 6 of the Paris Agreement under the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, and as the Secretariat of the Information Dissemination Agency, the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center has been working to organize for this event repeatedly. And through this side event, we aim to promote understanding and support for the JCM, and through disseminating information for recent progress of and the relevant trends in the market mechanisms, including negotiations, and also the practical practices in the markets. And as you know, the JCM has been already in place for a while, and then now we're in full the 100% for sort of like we are full in implementation mode for this. And today we're listening to a number of presenters updates, and also we are having the panelists from different partner countries. So welcome again to this event. And as the first speaker to provide opening remarks, I would like to invite Ms. Maiko Uga from the Ministry of the Environment, Japan, MOJ. So Uga-san, may I invite you to the floor? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. I guess good. Thank you so much for coming to this side event. I'm Maiko Uga, Program Manager for International Carbon Markets in the Ministry of the Environment, Japan. I would like to thank all the speakers, or I should say friends, longtime friends, and the co-organizer of this side event, Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, Japan, for OECC. And I also appreciate Dr. Kazuhiko Takemoto, President of OECC, to deliver the closing remarks for this event. We are also grateful for all of you to join this event. And I'm curious that if you are, where are you from? I mean, are you from the government? Could you raise your hand if you are government representatives? Only a couple, or I should know the panelists. So I guess a lot of you are from the private sector, including NGO, and want to know about the JCM. And so we are very much appreciate your interest. So after the adoption of rulebook of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, we got trying to operationalize Article 6. So compared to Article 6.4, 6.2 allows a certain degree of flexibility when interest parties voluntarily cooperate to strengthen the implementation of NDCs and promote sustainable development while ensuring the environmental integrity. So we hope that today's event facilitate the understanding of the JCM, including Article 6 in each partner countries, and more entities step forward to take more actions. That's my short opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uga-san. As a start, you have seen what there are so much going on already in terms of the implementation of the JCM, and then highly technical, but also highly practical. I think what this is where we are now. And then as the fast runner and first runner of the Article 6.2. mechanism. So this is the nice update from the Ministry of the Environment, Japan. Now, I would like to invite the next speaker, Mr. Vilender K. Dugard. He's a Principal Climate Change Specialist, Sustainable Development and Climate Change Department of the Asia Development Bank. VK, please.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be here with all of you, and my gratitude to the organizer and colleagues at MOEJ for inviting me to this very important conversation. I see some friends and colleagues in the audience. JCM, the Joint Crediting Mechanism, as Uga-san very rightly introduced, is a very innovative mechanism to provide additional financial resources, more commonly known as carbon finance, which can help project developers to overcome some of the challenges that they face in implementing those projects or implementing those advanced low carbon technologies, which are not very common, which are not very viable for them. And that lays at the center of the work that we are doing at the bank. Generally speaking, when in the context that we are having at the COP, the buzzword is decarbonization, and which can be done through the implementation of various types of advanced low carbon technologies. It is very common that the developing countries, Uga-san mentioned about a number of countries which are partner with the government of Japan, they face a number of challenges in accessing advanced low carbon technologies. And on top of that, the cost of those technologies is really very high, and the projects are not that viable. This also includes innovative business solutions. So in that context, it is very important that those project developers, those developing countries are supported with some additional source of funding, carbon finance. And JCM is one such example of a cooperative approach. All of us who are following discussions on Article 6 are very well familiar with. Another important element which contributes to the implementation of low carbon technology projects is the upfront financing, which is again very important for enhancing climate action. Carbon finance, especially those who are familiar with the Clean Development Mechanism and the Kyoto Protocol and other mechanisms would be familiar that through the carbon markets, usually the money comes after the implementation of the project and after the successful monitoring, reporting, and verification of the actual project data. So in that sense, carbon market mechanisms are performance-based mechanisms. The challenges the project developers usually face are right at the time when they are actually implementing the project, because the challenge is more linked to the capex. But carbon finance usually comes after the successful implementation of the project, more in the form of cash flows. So how to bridge the gap? And the one possible solution is to make this carbon finance available to them upfront when they can use this money for the implementation of the project. This is something we have been doing at the Asian Development Bank through our carbon funds, and this has been found very useful for the developing member countries. And this is also a mechanism that is implemented through the JCM. So just to give you a short introduction of what we are doing at the Asian Development Bank. ADB has a very long-standing engagement with international carbon markets. We started this work when CDM, the Clean Development Mechanism under the Kyoto Protocol, was the only mechanism. So, but right from the beginning, we have followed a two-pronged strategy. On one side, we provide technical assistance to our developing member countries, both upstream and downstream. In upstream, we help country governments to set up the policy framework, institutional infrastructure, capacity building, including that of the private sector, so that they have a proper conducive environment for the operationalization of the markets. The downstream, we pick up the individual projects and handhold them to walk through all the 9 yards for for them to securitize emission reduction. Uga-san just mentioned about all the steps. So this is one side on which we provide technical capacity building and the technical support. My colleague Loan is there. She's working to support projects in Vietnam that we are supporting. Tamai-san is also here. But in parallel to this, we also manage carbon funds. So ADB designs, mobilizes carbon finance, and we provide that carbon finance through the purchase of carbon credits. By providing carbon finance, we support those project developers to overcome some of those financial barriers to help them to incentivize investments in low carbon technologies. And as I was saying earlier, our effort remains that we provide upfront financing for the eligible candidates so they can use the carbon finance to implement the project. So we do this with a number of methods by getting into long-term contracts, providing fixed time contracts, and also providing upfront financing. So what you see here on the screen is various instruments that we have as a part of our carbon market program. This includes technical assistance. This includes carbon funds. So in the realm of Paris Agreement, we have established Article 6 support facility, which I was mentioning earlier. We provide upstream and downstream support to help countries to get ready for carbon markets under the Paris Agreement. At the same time, we have established a carbon fund, which we are called Climate Action Catalyst Fund, that will purchase carbon credits under the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. But in today's context, the conversation that we are having here is important is Japan Fund for the Joint Crediting Mechanism. So the JFJCM, as we call it, is a very important instrument in ADB's overall carbon market program. This fund we established in 2014 with the support from the government of Japan, for which we are extremely grateful. This once again, JFJCM once again provides financial support to the project developers to implement advanced low carbon technologies into their projects. This again, as you can clearly connect, help countries to enhance their climate action, meet their NDC target, and raise the ambition over a period of time. As you can see on the screen, the overall contribution that we have received for JFJCM is $118.8 million. This is the cumulative between 2014 and 2023. And what I would like to highlight here is this amount also includes $2.3 million dedicated for the methane emission reductions. So methane, as you know, is one of the greenhouse gases which has more than 25 times global warming potential. Therefore, its mitigation and abatement is a very important part of the overall climate action. So we are very, very happy to be working in this dimension. Also, the JFJCM provides financial incentives in the form of grants for the adoption of advanced low carbon technologies that reduce GHG emissions, including CO2 and energy sources, methane. The important element is that being a development finance institution, we have a huge portfolio of projects. What we are able to do is to take the financial resources out of JFJCM, blend it, and provide as additional financial resource to ADB finance projects. So, like the name suggests, JFJCM provides financial support to projects which meet the eligibility criteria of JCM. And from the ADB side, all projects must be supported by ADB, must be ADB finance projects, and must be located in any of the ADB's developing member countries. This is my last slide. I know I've overshot the time allocated to me. My apologies for that. This is the portfolio of projects that we are already supporting. So as you can see that we are supporting projects in a number of countries, which includes Maldives, includes Bangladesh, Mongolia, Indonesia, and Palau. Of course, we continue to work on developing projects in other countries. But one thing that I would like you to notice, the type of technologies that we are supporting. These project types truly reflect the deployment of advanced low carbon technologies. And what is important here is to look that these technologies are innovative, are first time use in the country context. And across the board, what is important here is that all these projects that we have supported contribute to the broader context of decarbonization. So the overall theme that we are pursuing here is to provide additional financial resources, deployment of low carbon technologies, contribute to decarbonization, and contribute to enhancing climate action. So with this, I'll stop here. Very happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, VK. Very powerful message and a powerful presentation. And I think ADB's powerful support for our partner countries are moving forward very quickly towards the increasing the number of projects and also increasing the awareness and the capacity in institutional arrangement of the implementation of Article 6 and the JCM. Now today we have another presenter, Ms. Ritsuko Yoneda. She is director for the multilateral affairs of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries of Japan. So Yoneda-san, may I have the floor.
Thank you, Kato-san, and good afternoon, everybody. And I'm Ritsuko Yoneda from Ministry of Agriculture in Japan. And I really thank all the organizers for inviting me to be here. And sorry, actually, I was in the conference venue when the Kyoto Protocol was adopted back to 25 years ago. And I'm really proud of back here in the COP for the first time in 25 years. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the agriculture, the JCM project in the agriculture sector. So you may think about why agriculture. It is very well-known fact that around 30% of global emissions is come from agriculture and the food systems. And it's quite a number. It's really quite a number. And that's why 2 days ago, a global leader of 134 countries signed a declaration, so-called Emirates Declaration, to mainstream the agriculture and the food system into the climate policies. And talking about the agriculture sector specifically, methane matters rather than CO2. And it's a really well-known fact also that enteric fermentation from ruminant animals are really the source of methane emission. But in talking about Asian countries, rice paddy field is another source of methane emissions. It accounts for over 20% of Asian total GHG emission from agriculture sector, according to the United Nations. So, but in this field, JCM project has never been, implemented so far. Usually, so far, the fossil fuel-based GHG reduction project is on track, as you know. But in this really historical moment, and we launched a new type of non-fossil fuel-based GHG production project. Of course, and you may know about the Red Plus project, which is a non-fossil fuel-based GHG program, but we focus on agriculture. And in cooperation with the Asian Development Bank, the Ministry of Agriculture of Japan launched a new project on JCM in the agriculture sector. I'll talk a little bit about it later. And also, of course, and we are really looking at to launch some scheme in pursuant to the Paris Agreement 6.2, Article 6.2. Allow me to talk about a little bit about the technical issue, but don't be panicked. This is really easy. The left slide is about the conventional farming practices. And many of you may know about in rice paddy field, in cultivation of rice, water is always filled in, but it generates methane. And why paddy field generates methane? Because in the soil, and there's a kind of certain types of microbe which doesn't like oxygen. And when the water is filled in, this kind of microbes are actively working and generates methane. So we really need to cope with this mechanism, but rice needs water. If there's no water and the production yield will be decreased. So we have to cope with that. And so we developed a kind of system called alternated wetting and drying, AWD, not ADB. It's about the kind of methodology to drying up the field and for the certain amount of days, and after that, and they fill in the water again and repeat that set of operation a couple of times. And according to the research, it is really proven that this method can reduce 30% of GHG from the paddy rice field, but maintaining the same amount of yield. It is a really quite a promising method, we think. So we made a calculation. If partner countries trying to implement the ADB in the 50% of their rice field, what the outcome will be. I'm not going to read aloud each number here, but it's really quite a good number of estimation. Let me ask later on what the estimation and the background is. But we're really looking at the hope and the promising and the future in this type of method. And important thing is, this economic benefit goes to farmers, goes to the individual farmers. That's the point why we're looking at it. We have a hope in the this AWT or JCM project in the agriculture field. Because as I mentioned, there's a large number of GHG emission from agriculture, but quite a few number of projects has been implemented because additional cost and the kind of reducing GHG emission sometimes requires additional cost, and it's going to be a burden to the small farmers especially. But through this project, farmers can increase income. And also GHG emission can be reduced. That's kind of a dual benefit. Is the hope and it's a point of why we are looking at JCM in agriculture. And the last slide, this is my last slide. We are, Ministry of Agriculture is really focusing on to emphasize 3 points. We need GHG emission from agriculture and food system, of course. And also in agriculture field, we need to increase in farmers' income. And the third, implementation of climate smart technologies. And let me add some point and the really view we have now. This type of AWD, alternate wetting and drying, is really primitive way of methodology, way of farming method. But it can be implemented easily to the on-farm level. So that kind of on-farm level, easily implemented kind of method is really required in the agricultural field. So we're really looking forward to disseminate this type of things all over the world, especially in Asian countries. I'll stop here and thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Yoneda-san. Welcome back to the COP after 25 years, first of all. And also, we welcome Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries. MAF is also on the board in JCM front. And I think the methane reduction is actually the critical part of our global efforts, as you have seen global methane pledge. And I think the JCM also provides a really important space to reduce additional emission of greenhouse gas reduction through methane related activities. So thank you very much for your presentation. Now, we're very happy to invite for the panelists to the front. Actually, well, we are going to start with the panel discussion. The first, I would like to invite Kun Putipa from, she's the director of Carbon Credit Certification Office, Thailand Greenhouse Gas Office, TGO. Thank you very much. Please welcome her with your program. Thank you very much. And also Ms. Isabella Villanueva. She's a climate change analyst, climate change unit of the Ministry of Energy of the Republic of Chile. Welcome. Then also I would like to invite both the VK to come to the front to join us for the panelists. And Ms. Yoneda, may I have you on the floor back again. And finally, Uga-san, you're welcome to the front. Thank you very much. So we're going to start for our panel discussion. So having very rich presentations from three speakers, well, we also would like to listen to updates of our country, partner countries' efforts. And I think there are lots of things going on, but also at the partner countries, well, domestic institutions. So today, well, we are going to listen to Kun Putipa and also Ms. Isabella to kick off your information sharing about the updates of the JCM in your country. So Kun Putipa, can you start?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank you, Japanese government and OECC for inviting TGO to share the information with all of you today. For the current JCM status in Thailand, right now we have 17 methodology that for JCM project, including 1 renewable energy, 15 energy efficiency, including electrolyzer, boiler, LED, air jet room, and other energy efficiency technology, and also energy distribution, 1 methodology. There are 7 third-party entities in JCM project, and also for JCM model project right now we have 51 JCM model project, including 28 renewable energy, 21 energy efficiency, and renewable energy plus energy efficiency 2 projects. And from 51 JCM model project, we have 11 projects that have already registered at JCM. And from 11 projects, there are 5 projects that have already issued credit. The total amount of credit is 4,032 ton carbon dioxide equivalent. And there are more 2 projects, which is demonstration project and feasibility study. The first one is the project on introduction of scheme for fluorocarbon recovery and destruction with utilization of existing waste incineration plant, which supported by MOEJ. Another one is low carbon operation for power and utilizing online voltage optimal control, which supported by METI. This is the project that already started in Thailand. For JCM project right now, after the decision of Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, Thailand government and Japanese government, we had discussion on revising the memorandum of cooperation to align with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. And right now we are in the process of get the approval from the cabinet and also signing the grant agreement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kun Putipa, for your kickoff start. And perhaps, Ms. Isabella, you can also start. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here. Japan is one of my favorite countries, so being in the pavilion is good too. I think JCM is one of our key topics or issues related to carbon markets in Chile, because it was the opportunity to learn from the example, from the experience about how to implement this kind of approaches, or carbon markets, or market approaches in general. So it has been really good for the country, or for our institutions, and for the projects and the private sectors, of course, to develop those kind of approaches. So in particular in Chile, we have 100% of our projects under JCM are energy projects. If you see from different perspective, we have in general many projects, or most of the projects related to solar PV, renewable energy, non-conventional renewable energy, because Chile is it is a country that has been developing, or has been under a boom of the renewable energy. So of course we're in that context too. And we have a project related to or focus on cogeneration in the rice husk sector. So it is interesting to see, not just from the energy perspective, but from the waste management perspective. I think it's both of them, but in our or in the categories under the energy sector. So that is the main or where we are right now under the JCM. But we can talk nowadays about JCM without talk about Article 6, right? It's part of the conversation. It is because why we are here. So as I mentioned before, the joint crediting mechanism for us in Chile has been this opportunity to develop and to learn how to implement carbon markets in an international perspective. And we have been developing in the past 2 or 3 years our main discussion related to the use of Article 6 and in an interministerial task force led by the Ministry of Energy, but with the participation of the Ministry of Environment, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of course. This task force elaborated the main input for the development of the national policy for the use of Article 6, when, among other things, we determined why we want to use Article 6, because we know that carbon markets, it's to accelerate the decarbonization or to reach our climate goals, but how we can use this, in which kind of sectors or in which kind of projects, what is additionality for us in the country, and how we want to develop that. Well, all the discussion is under this task force and under this document, which is the input. And in Chile, we promulgated last year our climate change framework law. And in 2 of the articles of the climate change framework law, we have two things interesting for this conversation. We have the implementation we starting the one domestic carbon market. It is a crediting baseline system domestically, of course, for the use in Chile. But in one of the articles of this part of the law, we have a mention for Article 6. So the law mandated the Ministry of Environment in Chile to develop the specific regulation to use Article 6 to reach our goals, our climate goals. So we have been, or in particular, the Ministry of Environment in Chile has been developing this particular regulation under the law to use Article 6 and the domestic system, but to use Article 6 to reach our goals. So this is where we are right now, why has been important the use of JCM and how is important this kind of collaboration. And for me, it has been an honor to be part of the implementation of JCM in Chile, because I think it's one of the most valuable system or mechanism related to the use of carbon markets worldwide.
Thank you very much for that's great for your so much advanced for in this. And then What is very interesting is that, in the past side event where we organize, we tend to speak about first of all, project continues to be a very important topic. And the international rules and procedures for being negotiated in the other room, this is another thing. But today, what we're listening to is the domestic institutionalization of this market mechanism, as Isabella has spoken to. So this is a new phenomena and maybe new challenges, but also the new opportunities for partner countries and also Japan can work together. So I just wanted to flag for this point. But perhaps there should be also lots of headaches or lots of challenges. So maybe I would like to throw this question to Kumputipa. Well, are there any homework or are there anything you may want to seek for maybe like type of cooperation or information exchange about to address all these challenges for institutional arrangements?
Thank you. For the necessary arrangement and challenges to make the JCM align with Article 6, there are some additional requirements that we have to consider and we have to add in the JCM, such as the additionality issue and also the sustainable development and safeguard, because this one is very important issue in Article 6. So we have to add this issue in the JCM as well. And also there are some additional steps that would add to the JCM project cycle to accommodate authorization, corresponding adjustment, and also reporting. For the first one, I would like to mention about project selection. Project selection, the project shall be selected by the joint committee before developing the JCM project. And the second step that add to the JCM project cycle is about authorization of the selected project by the government of Thailand. Project shall be authorized by the government of Thailand before request for registration. And another step that add to the project cycle is fulfillment of the authorization before issuance of carbon credit. The monitoring report and verification report shall be examined by the national focal point, which is Department of Climate Change and Environment. And the request or credit issuance will be approved by the government after the examination result is positive. One more step is about transfer of credit to the Japanese side. In the past, we also have separate registry and we issue the credit in each registry. But for right now, credit allocated to the Japanese side are issued in JCM special account and will be canceled. The register notify the government of Japan to issue the same amount of credit. It's a holding account of the JCM registry of Japan. And the last one is about the authorization of allocated credit by the government of Japan. So you see that there are some steps that should add to the project cycle. That is the arrangement that need to do the JCM align with Article 6. I think it's not the challenges, but we're learning by doing. We have to learn the process, and also if there are something that we need to revise, it needs to be revised. So, and also I think it's the opportunity for like the issue of sustainable development for make the JCM align with Article 6, we added the issue in the project cycle as well. So the project developer need to do to assess the sustainable development and also do no net harm to reduce the negative impact to the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kun Putipa. Recently, in our office, we tend to discuss in a group about the JCM, and then Thailand is always attract our attention in our office regarding the JCM. And then we happen to find the very beautiful web page, which is actually probably something related to the registry of the project. But it's not only the JCM, but also a project for probably other mechanism in the Article 6.2. And also Thailand has a TVER scheme, Thailand Verified Emissions Reduction Scheme, which is the domestic carbon scheme. So, and then I think this is very much advanced discussion in the country, and many other countries can learn. I mean, Japan is also learning from Thailand's advancement, but I think this is really a nice move by the government of Thailand with a high technical expertise, and also this is also learning by doing approach. So I would like to congratulate your great efforts to advance for the domestic institutional arrangement for the JCM in Article 6.2. Now, I would like to invite for VK. I think as you presented for in your presentation, well, the ADB has been very active, and also that your bank is providing kind of like a very thorough support and very dedicated support. And also the sustainable development impact is huge. And that's a strong emphasis by the bank. So can you further provide like what kind of reflection do you have for at the current stage of the JCM for future advancement?
Thank you. No, this is a very interesting question. As I mentioned, ADB has a very long engagement with carbon markets. So we started with CDM, and as a part of our carbon market program, we have been buying carbon credits. So when we were purchasing carbon credits, we were paying a special attention, not only to provide upfront finance that I mentioned earlier, but also selecting projects and credits, which were not just denominating the tons of CO2 reduced, but also the sustainable development benefits to the local communities and beyond. So this was one of the very important criteria for us to select a project and also to put a price on the carbon credits. So let me also put in the footnote that we were not necessarily buying credits at the market price, which at some point in time started going down. So we have always been very careful and providing a signal that there is a value to sustainable development benefits which are closely associated. That's one part. The second part is that we were very fortunate to start working with MOEJ right from the early stages of the development of JCM. So we started doing the capacity building of number of our member countries on how to make advantage of JCM. We worked with Thailand, also colleagues at TGO. Then with the negotiations of the Article 6, ADB established Article 6 support facility, through which we are supporting a number of countries to enhance the readiness to participate in the next generation of market. So we have got a full spectrum of awareness of what has been different mechanisms, what are similarities, dissimilarities. But one thing which has come out very prominently in our capacity building and our part of our knowledge work is that the JCM is a very good and live example of how countries can take advantage of Article 6.2. Isabella alluded to that. So there is a complete body of knowledge which is available out there. 28 countries, Uga-san mentioned, a number of projects which government of Japan is supporting on JCM. ADB is supporting a number of projects through Japan Fund for JCM. So there is a sufficient knowledge, and there's a complete validation of the fact is JCM is in fact a forerunner of Article 6.2. So while the countries are still trying to wrap their head around how to go about operationalizing Article 6.2, my submission is very clear. I mean, you have JCM here, you look at that, and that will give you all the insight that you actually need to get your readiness done for 6.2. So this has been actually the theme of 2 publications that we have brought out, which are available in public domain, including some of the examples. So this is something which I would like to reinforce and share with all the participants here, that if you are trying to understand how Article 6.2 can actually be operationalized, please do look at the JCM. What ADB can do, we have been working with countries to enhance their capacity. So we have a capacity building technical assistance available that is in place. So we are working with a number of countries, something we'll continue to work. And when there are projects which are in JCM, and if those projects meet the criteria of the Japan Fund for JCM, we will provide carbon finance to support those projects so they can, deploy advanced low carbon technology. So if that answers your question.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think as I mentioned for the at the beginning, well, the JCM is the first runner, so it's running at the top runner or front runner, and also it's fast runner. Well, it's quickly developing and also operationalizing its climate actions through these mechanisms, and it's actually, well, in the international level, but also today, well, what we have seen is operational level in the country's domestic administration, and also to support for this, our partners such as the Asian Development Bank and others, well, they are also accelerating their efforts. So I really appreciate this situation. And I hope we would like to see more. But one thing we have missed actually, and probably we're not going to miss, is agriculture. And I think this is a completely new topic. But I think we have been waiting for this action by the MAF. So, Yune-san, well, can I request you to add some more story about your ministry's action on the JCM and the methane reduction in partnership with other countries?
Okay, thank you for, I'm really happy to hear you were waiting for our action, MAP's action. We are now implementing some action. Maybe this is not a directly answer to your question, but what we are trying to do is kind of how to achieve the GHG reduction and also food security in the developing world. And many of the panelists talking about the sustainable development issues, but in the agriculture perspective, it's about food security. And as you may know, many people are still suffering from hunger. And also we shouldn't decrease the yield or production of the food. And maybe nobody who doesn't need food, maybe not, and we need it. So that's a point of agriculture, but that's a challenge, that's a difficulty we're facing in implementing the JCM or implementing a kind of this type of project in agriculture field. But we started and also this is really forerunner in all over the world. And only quite a few number of projects regarding agriculture in the project pursuant to Paris Agreement 6.2. So I'm really proud of that. And also we are really happy to collaborate other partner countries, and they're really happy to progress and see, you will see what happens.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And then Uga-san, for your reflection, what will be the prospect? And maybe you may want to also ask for partners to further collaborate for the advancement of the JCM and the Article 6. So what is your reflection?
Thank you for all of you for the very valuable comments and their questions. For Thailand, we've been doing the cooperation in various fields, but I truly believe that Thailand is one of the forerunner in Article 6. And adoption of the Article 6 rules, we had a long discussion how we implement this cooperation efficiently, but with the impact. And so what details are not disclosed yet, but probably you'll see drastic, some way it's a very big change for us, both Thailand and Japan. But I think we have truly believed that Thailand is very capable of implementing the Article 6, and we are probably more rely on your domestic those mechanisms and the capability. But we are really looking forward to working on the JCM under the new rules and guidelines. And Chile, yes, you already created the law, which is a big deal. And I know that many partner countries are still trying to establish all the institutional arrangement. And for the government officials, changing the law or creating one is really a big deal and time consuming. And I know that legal part is different from what we are talking about. So to create the relevant law to regulate the Article 6 in domestic context, the market people and also the legal person in our government really need to work hard. So it's a challenge, but I think that work will really create a kind of safe environment for the private sector to involve in the international carbon market. So yeah, so in that field, I think many countries are still facing the challenges, and hopefully the Article 6 partnership that Japan and many countries launched last COP will help those process too. And Vicky, thank you so much for your presentation. And well, the safeguard, sustainable development, and the human rights, those things are not new. And of course, we have to do that. But working with ADB or MDBs are very much helpful, and we're very much grateful to work with ADB because they have more experience in terms of like a big project, and we are still so much learned from you. So, but I think the rigorous assessment process in the ADB, those very benefit for the this mechanism to move forward. Last but not least, I just want to comment to the math presentation. This is, we are very much grateful that Minister of Agriculture is joining this cooperation. And you may think, oh, government is very slow to move, and maybe it takes like maybe 5 years to create one document, but that's not true. We are trying to accelerate this process, and soon, hopefully, you'll see that all the document that you can use in agriculture. So stay tuned.
Oh, stay tuned. Thank you very much. Okay. I wanted to ask the final comments or expectation regarding with the future of the JCM, the Article 6.2. But before that, I would like to invite for one or two questions or comments from the floor. I think your people are waiting for you to express your reflection. So can I? Yes, please identify your name.
Hi, I'm Sudhir. I'm from BB Energy. We are carbon developers. Just a quick one for 6.2 article under JCM. Does the projects have to have the same criteria as JCM, that the technology and the funding has to come from Japan, or the partner in this thing, or it is irrespective of the funding and technology coming from Japan, you can, if they qualify?
Okay, thank you very much. And one more question or comments if, okay, there's the lady there.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Ivy. I'm with S&P Global. So my question is about the revocability of carbon credit, authorization under Article 6.2, which is something we are keep looking at for this COP, right? So I want to know from your perspective, is the revocability a big deal? And what are the challenges and what are your country's countermeasures? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So to respond to the first question, who is going to pick up the yes? Uga-san, probably, yes.
Thank you for your question. So JCM, we don't require particular technology coming from Japan or maybe other countries. We just want to introduce a better technology. For example, Ministry of Environment have some funding programs, and we require those technology are better than those widely available in the market. So that's also our aim in the JCM. And yes, of course, some technology came from Japan, but also a lot of technology are from other countries. So, but yes, there should be not just a conventional ones. You mean 6.2, I don't think they require any those criteria. They are flexible and doesn't really specify that detail. But JCM is a cooperation between Japan and the partner countries. And Japan, we don't want the credit that no Japanese companies are involved, because we hoping that asking the company to show some kind of a Japanese contribution for those projects. Yeah, maybe that's a technology or maybe finance. Those, in some way they have to prove that.
Thank you very much. Yes, Yodin-san, please.
Let me add one thing from the agriculture perspective. And the methodology, the measures I presented was a little bit different, which was implemented in Japan. And because in the agriculture perspective, and agriculture is really depend on each country's natural and the climate situation. So it's not going to work if the kind of AWD system into Chile where nobody rice field is there. Maybe a few, maybe, I don't know, sorry. So that is a kind of beauty of the JCM system. So that's why we decided to move forward to use the JCM system. So if we are trying to implement the progress further in the agricultural field, we have to customize and what is the best way, in a suitable way, best fit way in each country. That's a basic point of JCM, we understand.
Thank you very much. And for the second questions, I think maybe Isabella and Pablo, if you can respond to the second question.
Yes. Well, the question was related to challenges, right? This is some reflection that I didn't prepare because it came to me in the morning because another event. But one thing I believe it is important is some kind of differences between our countries. In this particular case, between Japan and its partner country, or in this case Chile. I will talk of course from the Chilean perspective. It is maybe the difference between our states or our system of governance in our different ministries, for example. Sometimes I would like to work more on JCM, for example, but we have many topics to see in a really small team related to carbon markets in the Ministry of Energy, for example. So this is a challenge related to the capacities in our institutions. So maybe it is a big gap that we have in developing countries like Chile, and I think we must try to reach that gap, and maybe Article 6 partnership is a key element for that. Because if we want to grow our carbon markets, and in particular international carbon markets and international cooperation in this perspective, we must try to push that in our countries. We can use this kind of instruments, and for that we need capacities in a really a big way to say that in a broad perspective, I mean. So of course we have some technical issues or challenges that we can talk about, and I think you may know, but it is a good opportunity to put into the discussion this kind of difference that maybe create or maybe trigger that in our countries or in this case in Chile, we don't develop so many projects as maybe we want or we can, because a lack of capabilities or a lack of resources, etc. Just that reflection.
Thank you very much. Well, I know there are lots of big and small challenges every day, in your office and in our office as well. But still, it is a pleasure to advance for this this work. So I think there are more questions or comments, but time is almost coming to end. So I would like to request for all the panelists to provide your future prospect and also the expectation to the JCM, and maybe what expectation to Japan, the expectation to our partners for collaborations. So I would like to start from Putipat.
Thank you, Kato-san. I think one of the sentence that I would like to say at the last is the cooperation. I think the cooperation is very important. And I believe that the cooperation between Japan and Thailand will enable our country to less ambition and also support our country to move to net zero greenhouse gas emission in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Thailand is actually you have a very high ambition of carbon neutrality in 2050 and also 2065, the net zero emission. So I think this is one of the tools and to drive these efforts. Maybe Isabella again for.
I think like my biggest expectation right now related to JCM is to try to scale up the projects, bigger or largest project in the energy sector, but why not in other sector too? Because of this side event, agriculture came to my mind a lot of in those days. So that's one, and new technologies, new methodologies, not just solar PV, but storage and green hydrogen and transmission line. Why not enablers of the energy transition too? So yeah, just a quick.
Thank you. Well, we can develop a Chilean winery agricultural project. Okay, VK, please.
I could join you for that. Okay, thanks. No, going forward, I think there are a number of things. I think as far as the countries are concerned, it is very important that they develop very coherent national strategies, how they would like to take advantage of carbon markets. I think this is the current point in time. This is most relevant topic because, as I said earlier, there are multiple opportunities for countries. The voluntary markets, the compliance market, 6.2, 6.4, CORSIA market, and many others. So I think for the policymakers, it's very important that to make national strategies, make sectoral priorities, preferences, have a proper consultations with the stakeholders, including the private sector, and have a proper communication so that the private sector has a clarity on how my government is going to support me if I were to pursue a project for a particular carbon market revenue. I think this is going to be very, very important for countries are concerned. So what we are doing, we have an Article 6 support facility through which we are supporting countries to develop these strategies. And once they have developed the strategies, to make their national frameworks and help them to build their institutional capacity, private sector, public sector, and also to build the institutions. So this is upstream work that I mentioned earlier. And in that context, I should also mention that, ADB is also a member of the Article 6 implementation partnership. And together with that, we do hope that we can accelerate this work fast forward because the window of opportunity is very small. We really need to accelerate action and carbon markets are really needed. So we would like to join forces, very happy to be part of that. The second thing that what I think we would like to do is to expand the scope of work that we have been doing. You know, as I mentioned earlier, we have been focusing more on the decarbonization projects. So we would like to expand more on, say, for example, high global warming potential gases. So putting more focus on things like methane, which will also enhance the scope of the type of projects or sectors that can be benefited by carbon finance. The third thing that we would like to do is to provide any support that we can provide to expand the number of countries which can be benefited with JCM. You know, we know there are a number of countries that have grown up. It has gone to 28. But one of the things where the uptake is kind of constrained is because of the awareness. So we would like to join forces to make more and more countries aware about the potential benefits of JCM, taking the message of how the existing JCM countries, how the existing JCM projects are benefiting using the carbon finance to the other countries, so that more and more countries can also take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. So I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thanks, VK. Yoneda-san.
Yeah, thank you. And it sounds like very attractive to have a JCM and a Chilean vineyard. Maybe I mean I will start thinking about it and then when I go back to Japan. And anyway, I think I really think that this JCM has a future. Especially many of the panelists saying that this is a very innovative financing method, but innovative for agriculture arena too. And I just forgot to announce that, and we started to JCM and agriculture with the Vietnam and the Philippines first, and we would like to scale up and out this collaboration to the other world, other countries, and also we look forward to achieve that kind of triple win, like reduce GHG and also the increase of prosperity of the relevant sectors and also sustainable development. And that's thanks to ADB. And we are now just at the starting point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And finally, Uga-san.
I'll be very short. Just want to say, well, we have 28 partner countries, and we are getting more attention because particularly, I think, believe the DX League in Japan. And so the more Japanese companies are interested in this kind of cooperation. So the Japanese government, we would like to keep up with the expectation that we get from the partner countries and also the private sector inside, outside the Japan, so that we can scale up the climate action. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, there has been such a rich discussion, and I think we want to stay more in this room, but time has come. So that I really want to thank for the panelists. And also to conclude for this event, I would like to invite for Dr. Professor Kazuhiko Takemoto, the president of the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, Japan.
Thank you, Kato-san, for your kind introduction. First, let me extend my sincere thanks to all the panelists for your active contribution, and also to Mr. Kato as a moderator of this rich discussions. First, as introduced at the beginning, Mr. Kato and Ms. Uga of MOEJ, after the COP26, the detailed rules has been agreed, and then the JCM has been getting into full-fledged operation. And together with the partner countries such as Thailand and Chile, and also together with international organizations such as ADB, Japan has been committed to further implementation of the Article 6 and to develop the capacity in the partner countries. As discussed here in this afternoon, the partner countries are facing some challenges, capacity building, as well as smooth implementation of their own institutional arrangement. I'm very pleased to welcome Japan's initiative to enable all the countries who have engaged in mobilizing this market mechanism to fully implement necessary actions in a smooth and effective manner. I am very pleased and also looking forward to continuing to work together toward realizing a sustainable and decarbonized society. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking part in this side event. And I really enjoyed a very rich, dynamic discussion. Let me conclude my remarks by wishing all of you further cooperation in the future toward the smooth and effective implementation of Article 6 of Paris Agreement. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.